Hello, David. Paul here. Just out having a wee walk, and I thought this is a subject for a video. This shortly down there towards there, that area there is where I had that accident when I fell into the ravine down uh, beside the river. It was on the other side there, and nearly killed myself. But what I'm doing is I'm having a walk around, just looking at the nature and the trees and everything around here. I love trees and I love forests and everything. I could never have imagined I'd have bought a place in the centre of such a place as this. My place where my house is, the land that I've got is very, very steep, sloping, and not much of it, and very problematic. But I have hopes about buying more land. Land is very cheap here in Portugal, and this is terrible land. This is terrible land in terms of, like, if you wanted to be a farmer or something. But in terms of having beautiful forests, it's fine. And it's all mature woodland. And it's a great place for a person who likes to do woodwork, like me. So the problem I have now is finding out who owns what, where, and whatever, and who might be prepared to sell me some wood. So my house is there. You come down this track, it goes up there, up that track there, up towards the top of that forest there, which is mostly eucalyptus trees at the back. Eucalyptus is fine wood. I have nothing against eucalyptus. It's great stuff for making woodwork with. The only thing I've got against it is the fact that it's such a fire hazard. I think there's a way forward for Portugal, which is to have eucalyptus trees which cannot reproduce. If the genetic engineers could put terminator genes in, so you could plant the trees and grow them, and then when you'd crop them, they wouldn't, well, they could regrow, you know, from the stumps, but they wouldn't be able to breed and spread over the area. You see, there's one there that was probably just came from a seed. So that would eventually take over this lovely native forest. And all of this here, all of this is native forest. And it's great stuff. It's oak, chestnut. There's a little bit of bay laurel in there. The chestnut is wonderful wood. It's beautiful wood. And it's you're going to get the nuts off it, and you're going to get wood off it. You know, if properly managed, if they manage this, if they manage Portuguese woodlands for the wood and started selling the wood, they could make a lot of money off it. Instead of just letting it grow in a higgledy-piggledy random sort of way like that, if you get these broadleaf trees and prune them, it's called brushing, and get them to grow straight. The ideal shape is to produce wood in the shape of the eucalyptus with the long runs of straight wood. These here are called stone pine. They're all over the place. Often they will get, they'll lose the terminal tip and they'll become sort of umbrella things, which are quite attractive. They've got a kind of a Stone Age look about them. The wood, it's not very good. It's very soft, decays easily, so you can only use it for, well, I know I'm going to get arguments about this. Oh, you can use it for all sorts, but primarily used for things like pallets and whatnot. It's not the greatest of wood, and a lot of it gets burnt on fires. You know, it's firewood. This eucalyptus wood, the bycrop of that, bycatch of that forms great firewood. But primarily the great stuff is all this broadleaf stuff like the chestnut trees. So if I get more land, I'm going to plant my land up with chestnut trees and cork oaks and stuff like that. Cork oaks, they have a lifetime, and you can fell them, though you will need permission to do so. And you know, they've got to be felled at the end of their lives. So at the end of their lives, they will generate wood. There's so much wood to be, you know, to use. I personally think every damn thing should be made out of wood. You know, everything should be made of wood. The ultimate green material. More than anything you can imagine. And you can make charcoal. And with the charcoal, you can bury that in the ground as biochar and make the land more fertile. If you want to sequester carbon, well, that's a methodology of doing that. And the other thing is, with the charcoal, you can mix it with cement and produce an insulating layer of material that you can put on a house, which is something I'm hoping to do myself. So I'm walking into, there's an area of woodland here. There's a river here down at the very bottom there. Coimbra province is noted for having gold. So I thought, let's give it a go, man. So I get myself down there and I have a bit dig around and see if I can find some gold in this river. There is no gold. But please feel free to come round here looking for it. The gold that's not there, and spending money in our shops and bars and things like that. But it would be a nice day out, I guess, with some kids. That line that runs along there is the lavada that runs at the front of my house. That provides unlimited water. Endless water. I will never be short of water. It's not a, it's not a torrent of water. It's just a bit, but it's enough. It's enough. And there's quite a lot of abandoned wood there. I wonder what that is. That looks like, oh, that log there looks like it's got potential. It's just left to rot. And that may be either an old oak tree which has been felled, or it could be chestnut. At the moment I rather fancy chestnut because it's got a very nice grain pattern on it, because I've got a lot of projects to do in terms of woodwork for the furniture. So here is a cork oak, a young cork oak, and it's well, it's not ready to yield cork, so I guess it's either been stripped or just hasn't developed any yet enough. But that's definitely a cork oak. They're not huge trees, but if a tree is taller than you, I'm 5'10", so if a tree is 6 foot tall, as I pointed out to my friend, he said, "Oh, why? What's the point of planting trees? You'll never see them." Well, what about if you care about future generations? That would be a point. And also, are you telling me a tree cannot get taller than 6 feet in your lifetime? If you plant pretty much any tree, they'll grow between 1 and 2 feet per year. So there you go. You got 3 to 6 years to grow the tree, and you're done. So like it's above you, and you have that woodland sort of feel. It may be a very short woodland, but it's there. The land in front of my house has got cork oaks on it, and they're only about 15 to 20 feet tall, but they're trees, and they give a sort of ambience to the place, and they cast a lot of shade, and they're lovely. Look at this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful Portugal. This is Portugal the way it should be, without these damned eucalyptus trees. It's enough. It's enough. There's enough here for us all. There's enough wood here, there's enough resources, there's enough food, there's enough everything. If you would all just come back to the countryside, stop this obsession with living in the cities, especially if you're unemployed. Get yourself out here and see what you can do in reviving the countryside of Portugal. We have vast tracts of land, vast, just standing empty, fallow. not producing. So anyway, let's walk on. Let's walk on. So you got to imagine, you know, this is where I live. This is my home, you know. This here. It's just next to my house. I could come here if I had a dog, I guess, and walk the dog every single day of my life if I wanted. Though I'm not going to do that. I don't know what this patch is. Patch of flat land. Maybe some kind of former cultivation area. I would love to be able to buy some of this land. But to be honest, if I bought it, all I would do is look after it. I would simply restore it to native flora. And that's mostly there already. There is a fig tree there all over the place. The idea of growing a fig tree in the garden is a bit crazy because there are just so many. They're down the side of roadways. You stand at the bus stop and there's a fig tree. You just take a bag and collect some fruit. Delicious dried. I like them dried. Dried figs. So let's walk up this slope here and see what we got down here. Wow. Oh my God, this is wonderful. You see, this is kind of what you want. That there, oh no, 2 pines. I thought one of them was a, you want wood that looks like that, like the pine tree that's straight. But what you want is you want it to be good wood, like chestnut or something. So, what do we have here? Yes, you can tell the chestnut because it's got like serrated edges. It varies a bit depending on where it is on the tree. But there's a chestnut tree there. And that big chestnut tree, it's got a lot of good wood in it. That would be great. And that one up there, that would be great for making furniture. But unfortunately, well, that one's not too bad. But they're usually, they're full of creaky, misshapen bits, you know. You can, a tree like that, right? If suppose you wanted to make a settee, you have straight bits there. You know, you need about 6 to 8 feet of wood. So you've got straight lengths that run straight. You can do it out of that. Pretty much all of that log would just make a settee, and a couple bit more for logs for the side chairs, and that's that. But really, what you can do with trees is you can simply prune them and prune the branches off, and you can use the tree prunings to make furniture, and they're actually ideal because they're what you call roundwood. Now, roundwood is all the contractions and forces and everything are all about the centre, so they don't have they're being pulled in all around evenly. The forces are even on them, so they don't tend to want to bend out. You take a piece of wood and what you're trying to do is play tricks like quarter saw it or this or that or the other in order to reduce the amount of shrinkage and warping and twisting and all that. But if you actually cut the roundwood to the size that you want, and even if you can use the roundwood in a round form, that's even better. But if you can't do that, if you can just machine down, say, a branch which is like maybe 4 4 inches diameter. If you wanted to make a 3x3, that would machine down to something like a 3x3 square piece, which would have radial symmetry about it, and it wouldn't warp and twist and everything, and it would be excellent wood. Now when I came here 2 years ago, I walked under here. Oh, this is amazing. Oh wow, it's still there. This is damn creepy, I tell you. Oh, this is creepy. Because I don't know why somebody did this, but I don't like it. I'm not fond of skulls and things. This here is a hawthorn tree. Oh wow, that's good, that. I remember looking at this tree, and it's an obstruction to the pathway. And I thought, you know, I could cut that off there. Cut it off there, drop it, sew it up into the logs, take it home, and thus clear an obstruction which is in the way, you know, of the people. No, it's not. No, it's not a hawthorn. That one's the hawthorn which is combined with this one. I misidentified this one. That one's a hawthorn. This one here is a chestnut. Now that would make some damn fine chairs, and it's rotting. The roots are all rove out there and everything, but it's still basically just alive. So there will be bits of wood to be had in there. That's good. But what do you see on here? What's that about? Like hanging a sheep's skull on there? I hate it. So if I was to take that tree and take it home and provide a public service, I would simply be reminding myself of that flaming, you know, that whack whack thing. It looks like whack whack, like witchcrafty kind of look. And I don't want things like that in my house, so I'm not going to have that. Won't touch it with a 40-foot barge pole. I might, in service to the community, I might cut that off and just lay it aside to clear the path before it falls on somebody's head. Probably not. I've got enough work to do as it is. So it's a wealth of. This is just a valley of wealth that others don't see, but I do. At the back of my house, I have a fallen tree. It's massive, but it's unfortunately it's one of those easy rot pines. I could cut it up, take it into my house. I cut it up into small sections and bully it down into the house. But unfortunately, by the time I get back to the house, the rot will have set in and it won't look very nice. And what the hell am I going to use it for? It's really just suitable as firewood. Look at those magnificent pines. So I guess this is a good advert for Grocinas, because this is just next to Grocinas. When I say next to, as in like 100 meters from my house. If that, it depends where you choose to say where the forest starts and where the forest finishes. I don't know if this is a public woodland or what the hell it is. I would love to get permission to work in this woodland, but I tell you, I am not. Yeah, I could come in here and do what the hell I like, you know, and get away with it, but I'm not going to do that, for the simple reason I damn well am not going to break any single law whatsoever in Portugal that would compromise my right to live here. You know, I wouldn't even want a traffic conviction. But I don't know, there may be a law about fallen wood that you can gather it. I'm going to go and see the council officers, because if I get written permission, man, then I'm in business. Because lo and behold, what are we looking at? See over there, there's a massive fallen pine tree. And if I got a piece of paper authorising me, I can walk down the high street with a log on the end of a barrow and just playing trumpets, and nobody can stop me or care about it. Not that I don't think they really care anyway, but like, let's not push one's luck. There is something I see a lot of in the UK. That's a crack willow, that tree there. Crack willow, not worth much. Salix alba, the white willow, they make cricket bats out of it. Very springy wood, you can make floorboards out of it. But yet again, not very durable. Not very durable. They rot like hell. I'm not into investing my limited physical energy into things, into projects that are going to be temporary. So I don't want to put down crappy floorboards in my house and then find I've got to renew them in 2 years' time. You know, I want the things to last like 100 years or something. All that ivy there is growing up a pine tree. Ivy, though I've never seen it, ivy can fuse together like fig trees. And what they can do is they can surround a tree, and eventually the tree dies, and they can replace the tree, and you have what you call an ivy tree. It's a sort of composite production of all the ivy. I've never seen it yet in nature, but that could well be on its way to becoming such a thing. You never know. I'd like to see one at least in my lifetime. Okay, down there is the stream where I think the last time I was here I climbed down there actually, and I had a bit rake around to see if I could find gold, because I thought, wow man, if you could get gold, you know, just even a little bit, you could finance your projects, you know. You never know, you can hit lucky, a couple of €1,000 worth of gold. But no. Most of the gold is around Goish, which is also in Coimbra. But in addition to being in Goish, there's not much of it. Old Roman mines all worked out. People still pan for gold a bit there. I think that would be a fun thing to do with kids, so maybe my grandchildren and my new children, I'll bring them down here, particularly the boy, and I'll pan for gold. What I might do, oh, this is a terrible thing to do. I could actually get a bit of gold and sneak it in the pan, and then kid the little boy, you know, that we found some gold. Just play a trick on him, but I don't think that's fair. Look at that thing there, dancing around there, those lights. I wonder what they are. Are they flies or what? I don't think they are. I think it's a little vortex full of bubbles. Or is it dragonfly? It could be some critter. Ah, they're weird. Oh no. Wow, what the hell is that? That's some kind of an insect. They're having like an insect conference or something. They're like silvery white things. They look like little shiny ball bearings. I'm not going down there to find out. Pond skimmers. Haven't seen a fish. This would be a good place for trout if we had any. That's a thing I've thought of cultivating, trout. Let's venture on. I think this video is starting to get rather long. It takes me forever to upload videos. I'm going to have to get a faster link, maybe at a cafe or something like that. See there, that's the juvenile form of a eucalyptus tree. They look like kebabs. They're like skewers of leaves, you know. And that goddamn thing will take over the bloody forest. You know, you don't want it. And also that white flower, that's not a good thing. That there white flower is the flower of almost certainly Japanese knotweed, which you also don't want to have in your nature. But unfortunately, if it's there, it's there. You know, if it's there, it's there. Oh gosh, if I could just have more time on this planet, you know, more life, so much to do and see. This here, let's have a smell. Yes, absolutely. I didn't even need to have a smell. This is bare laurel. You get some fairly large shrubs of this. I googled to find out what is in bare laurel. You know what? You know, is it good wood or whatever? And it turns out it's not that startling. But it smells nice. So if you want some bare laurel leaves, fill a bag, get enough leaves for a lifetime's cooking. Now, something interesting here. A guy came by my house. We had these. They got these like tags tied to trees, and I didn't know what this was about. I thought it was something for foresters to indicate where they needed to chop trees down or something. There you go. There's a blue tag, and it turns out I should remove that, but I'm not going to. There was a race or something, or a jog or something like that. You know, runners. And these were markers indicating the route. So this tells me something that I didn't know. Because if those tags were here, it means the joggers came down here. There's a lot more interesting route for them. So they came down here, and there must be a route out of here towards civilization again. There must be an exit point for them. I was here 2 years ago, and spotted some good wood. Well, short good wood, if it is any good. It's this thing. I thought that this might be Prunus lauriceus, which is Portuguese laurel. But when you scrunch the leaves, you discover that you're completely wrong. It's not. It's just bare laurel. Nothing wrong with that, but I'd like to see Prunus lauriceus, the Portuguese laurel, back in nature, because it's an indigenous plant, and we had great laurel forests. You know, people have oak forests, they have this forest, they have that forest, the other forest, and we in Portugal had laurel forests. There's a load of seeded ones, you know, seeded. What do you call it, laurel? Seeded bare laurel. But I've never found any Portuguese laurel, Prunus lauriceus. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm going to buy some, and I'm going to put them on my land, and then eventually, you know, they can. Well, that's my representation of them. I've brought them back into the area, and then they can maybe seed and spread into the forests or something like that. But they're native, they belong here. Native. What's here? It's so quiet. I think Portuguese forests are quieter than anywhere else, really, if you think about it. Because, and especially if you're going to do forests the way I'm going to do it, because they contain cork oaks. And what is cork really good at? absorbing noise. So it makes the place really quiet. That is the A13 motorway. So starting to run out of forest now. But though, having said that, maybe there's more up there. This just goes on for mile after mile after mile after mile. But this is the best stuff. This is the best quality forest around because it's native. You know, it's native. And there, at the top, at the ridge, the damn eucalyptus. So I hope one day that Portugal sees some sense and changes its agricultural practices and gets rid of a lot of the eucalyptus. And what they do grow, if they have the terminator genes in, which I suggested, then you would you'd be okay. You didn't fear it. Now what have I spotted? Look at this. Well, I'll be damned, eh? I'll tell you something, I'll be back here. Because what we got here is just a naturally seeded grapevine. And there it is, growing with the grapes. I don't imagine these grapes are anywhere near sweet. Let's try one. It's not possible. Oh my God. No, that's not sweet. Ah, not pleasant. That's kind of like a sour apple flavour. There's another one of those ties. So I guess those runners would emerge from here. And where would they go? You know, I live in hope it might be possible to get sufficient wood for what I need from fallen rubbish timber and stuff. You know, if you clear this forestry waste, you're actually doing good because it's all fire hazard, you know. So collecting this stuff and using it as firewood in your house, in my case my pizza oven, is a good thing. So let's see what we got here. Now that tie ends there. Oh, lot of waste wood here. They do that here, but it's a good methodology. Clear felling. What they do is they clear fell the trees in an area instead of being selective. They just like blitz everything. And then stuff grows back. So you get the natural succession species. Whereas if you do selective felling, what you end up with is a system that's no longer natural because you're selecting out certain species and leaving the rubbish behind. But by this clear felling, it gives rise to herbs and wildlife opportunities. It might look terrible, that, but it's not. In a couple of years' time, it'll all be grown back and it'll be doing just fine. A lot of iron in the bedrock here. The bedrock and the soils. I don't imagine it's possible to have an iron shortage in your diet here, eating vegetables here. I tried using earth from here to make sort of saltillo tiles by mixing it with cement, but it just doesn't hold together. It's terrible. Might give it a one last chance, one last try. Probably not. It doesn't work well with cement. Wow. You'd pay thousands to live in a place that, oh, I did. I paid 16,000, didn't I? I paid £16,000, which translates into 19,000 euros, which translates into 16,000 UK pounds for my house. And no matter what you say, that's a good deal for everything I've got. And if I can't develop this place anymore, I'm sort of stuck with a cottage in the country, well, so be it. I'm stuck with a cottage in the country and I can't go any further. But that wouldn't be too bad. There's always something else to do. I've got boats, I've got places in the Philippines and all kinds of things. I'm beginning to think about Uruguay now, what I could do there. So anyway, that's the end of this. That's the end of this trail as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I'm not going any further. So I hope you enjoyed a walk in the woods near my house in Grocinas. Jesus be with you.